What's going on, Raider Nation? Good to check in with you guys. Glad to get the off season going. I think it's going to be a very exciting off season ahead of us. A lot of work to do on the front office side of things. Mike Mayock, I'm sure he's going to be working 18-hour shifts for the next 2 months, 3 months. But I just wanted to get into some off-season things. I got some super threes for you guys. I got 3 super wishes. I've got 3 super cuts. And I've got 3 super flexes. The first 2 are obviously self-explanatory. But to explain my super flexes, every off-season you got on every team in the NFL some guys that mentally progress. They process the playbook. They physically pump some irons, put themselves in a position where they're going to have a breakout season. Some vast improvements. So let me just jump right into my super 3 wishes. My first super wish, I had this wish weeks ago before the rumors even arose. I really want us to trade Marcus Mariota. We already have Derek Carr. He's like a Corvette Stingray, and Marcus Mariota is like a Ford Mustang GT. If you had a Stingray and a Mustang GT, unless you're insatiably rich and you just want to collect cars, there's just no point to it. You got one toy car that you drive around for fun. You don't need both of them. So I know we'd like to have a Ferrari or a Lamborghini like Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson, but that's just not the way it's going to go right now. It looks like Carr's going to get an extension. We'll save about $10 million on that. My second super wish is I want us to hire a running backs coach that is a previous running back. Now, I know it's the case most of the time, but believe it or not, there's a lot of position coaches that don't even know anything about the position they're coaching. They're just a part of the coaching staff for their football knowledge. But I'd like us to bring in a former running back to be our running backs coach. Maybe even a former Raider. Guys like Marcel Reese stick out. He works for the Raiders right now, but I'm sure he'd be interested in a raise and coming back into football. I don't know what Darren McFadden's up to, but his body caught up with him. But I think he knows everything you need to know about being a running back. You know, cutting lanes, spaces, gaps, you know, just different techniques that running backs, you know, you got to develop these things when you come into the league, and he'd be a good mentor. Even somebody like Maurice Jones-Drew, he works for NFL Network. I don't know if he wants to go into coaching, but, you know, it'd be nice to see one of those guys jump into the staff. And my third super wish is I'd like us to restructure Derek Carr's deal. I already think this is going to happen anyways, but I still wish it, obviously. It would be nice for him to restructure and save about $2 or $3 million. That obviously is if he doesn't get an extension, but it's not like this is money that's going to be taken away from him. He'd get that money later on in an extension one way or another. So that would just help out our cap space a little bit. My 3 super cuts, I'm going to go through these quickly. 2 of them a lot of people expect. My other one, I don't know why some of Raider Nation doesn't agree with. But Trent Brown, he saved $14 million, no-brainer. I'd rather have Brandon Parker or bring in a free agent or draft somebody. I'm done with Trent Brown. I don't even want to say anything else about that. LaMarcus Joyner, you save about $9 million. It's just not worth it anymore. I'd rather have Amik Robertson come in, and if he's developed enough, or sign a guy like Desmond King. He'd be a perfect slot corner / defensive back. My third super cut is Gabe Jackson. This is obviously if we don't cut Richie Cognito, but I think we keep Incognito. He's cheaper, and you still have obviously Denzel Good. We drafted John Simpson. He could definitely go. Gabe Jackson is good sometimes. He's never really elite. That 2016 elite season, he was kind of elite. So I'm ready to move on from Gabe Jackson. I've liked the time he spent with us, but it's just not worth the money. There's just too much cap tightness this offseason, I guess you'd say. So my 3 super flexes, 3 guys that I think are going to bust their tails this offseason and come the 2021 start of the season, they're going to be big contributors for us. My first one is pretty expected. Bryan Edwards. I loved that possession touchdown catch he had in the last week. I think we're going to see a lot more of him. He has all the tools. He's physically gifted. He's more of a possession guy. He's not the fastest guy, but he's a hell of a receiver. He reminds me kind of like a Anquan Bolden type guy. He's not as bulky, obviously. He is very, he's toned out and very muscular, but Bolden is kind of a, stocky guy. But he's really good with those possession catches. Brandon Parker, I think when we cut Trent Brown, Parker is going to be basically told, if you fit the bill, we're going to give you the right tackle job. And I think he does end up earning that job. He improved a lot. His rookie and sophomore years were horrendous, especially his rookie year, one of the worst tackle in the league probably. But he's improved a lot. I like what I saw from him last year. So I think he comes in and he starts, and I think he's going to look pretty good. He's getting adjusted to the run game because, in college at North Carolina A&T, he never really passed the ball too much. They had Tariq Cohen, ran it 90% of the time, 70% of the time, whatever. So, and my third super flex is Foster Moreau. This guy looked great his rookie year. I was pissed off with the whole Jason Witten situation just because he was really slow and didn't make much plays once he got the ball. And Foster Moreau, I mean, he gets the ball and he starts running. He goes downhill. He reminds me of Gronk or something, So I think that mentorship from Jason Witten is going to do a lot of good for him. And I think him and Waller are going to be a nightmare next year. When the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, it was a big part of it was their tight end game. They had just really good play from their 3 tight ends, mainly their top 2. And so I expect Foster Moreau to be really good next year. He'll be a star. And, I'm really excited for this offseason. Can't wait for this draft to come up. And I'm actually going to come up with a mock draft in about a week or 2. So tune in, guys.